Had it shared to the community.
It's the Bulls Podcast 60 with special guest P.Kidd from the Windy City Breeze. We're still talking P will versus P won't. Lonzo Ball non-updates. Let's see. We've got the emergence of the Bench Mob 3.0 and game predictions for the coming week. Great
Bulls
play.
Fans. It's time for your Bulls Podcast.
I can never get it right, Wise.
Here are your hosts, Marcus Couch and Wise Black.
All right. Welcome to the Bulls Podcast, coming to you from bullspodcast.com. This is where we bring you the latest news, rants, reviews, rumors, and opinions on the players, coaches, and front office of the Chicago Bulls. My name is Marcus Couch, and once again, my friend on the other end, Mr. Wise Black. What's going on, my guy?
Nothing much. What's going on, Chicago? As my man Marcus said, I am the Bull Lifer himself, Wise Black, and we got a special one in store for y'all today. Think y'all gonna dig it.
We got P.Kidd in the house from the Windy City Breeze. P.Kidd, welcome to the
Appreciate
Bulls
it, fellas.
Podcast,
Appreciate
my
it,
man.
fellas. Thank you,
All right, we got
Wise.
a lot in store. We got Marco sent to the G League. We got Lonzo Ball updates. We're going to talk bench mob predictions for the coming week and all of it. So before we get into this, and I'll fade out the intro there, P.Kidd, I know you're a huge fan of jackets and attire. So in honor of you, my man, I'm going to wear this jacket that I got here. This is vintage. This is for my wife. Look at this logo, people. Look at this. Look at this.
Crazy.
Am I getting it
Do
in here?
not make it like that no more, man.
So I don't know where this is from, but my wife got BJ Armstrong to sign this. I don't even know if this is in the frame or what the hell's going on, but
Move it over a little bit more.
God, man.
It's an
We
autograph.
ain't see the signature.
almost-
jacket.
There we
There you
go.
go.
There we go.
So
My
this
man.
thing is suede. This is leather with like pinstriping and all that. So, kid, I'm gonna wear this one today here for you. This is actually, I think, the first time I've actually worn this one. So fits. There we go.
It's a gift, and it's the first time you've ever worn it.
Oh yeah.
Now I feel special, man. Thank you. Now I feel special.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get into it, P.Kidd, tell the fans here about yourself and what you got going. Oops, wait. I almost removed you. Tell everybody about yourself and what you do over there at the Breeze.
Appreciate it, my man. Thank you. As Marcus mentioned, P.Kidd, the Windy City Breeze, over there with my guy Pat the designer. Also can't forget AD, can't forget Ringo. The whole crew over there. Been doing this for, man. I started right when the pandemic started, so I'm relatively the new guy, but it's I've gravitated toward it, taken a liking to it, and got a chance to meet you all in the process, and so this has been an incredible journey. I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, man. Now Pat's been on this show, and I knew right away when I met Pat, it was from Big Dave, and I checked him out, and he had like 280 subscribers when I first talked to him, and then we brought him on the show. And Dave's like, you should have him as a regular on your podcast. And I'm like, man, I don't think I can saddle that. I don't think so. That guy's he's got plans and
Yes.
God's got plans for him. And as it turned out, when he lost his gig or whatever it happened to be, then everything fell into place for you guys, like right away.
Sure.
He got locked on Bulls. You guys started doing the Breeze stuff. Now, the thing that I love that you guys do the most is the live calls, obviously, of the Bulls game. Pat's an amazing play-by-play guy. You are great with color commentary and everything else. And I enjoyed all the Kobe White hate last season. So it was really something.
Healthy criticism. It wasn't hate.
Exactly.
There you go.
So how long have you been a Bulls fan in general?
Man, you know what? Born and raised in Chicago. So my whole life, I'll be honest with you, there wasn't any other team that I remember when I was coming up in our household outside of the Lakers.
Yeah.
So it was Bulls and Lakers. My mom was a huge Magic fan. So that whole Magic versus Mike thing was a huge big thing there. That's actually how I even became eventually a Kobe fan myself because those are the two teams she gravitated towards. So I
So
mean,
what was the
literally my whole
first?
life.
What was the first like team that you followed? What was the first team that you started watching? The Bulls team. Like who was
The
on that team?
'95 team.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
When Mike
Yeah.
came back for those few games before the playoffs, that was the first team I remember watching every game of before taking my deep dive into the sport. So
You look pretty. My bad, P.Kidd. You look pretty young, bro. I mean, you started following them in '95. Like, were you a youngster?
no,
during
so
then?
for sure, like I'm not gonna make it seem like I was just like genius or savant, but like I was really stuck on the Bulls at 5. Like I can tell you
Okay.
the first time I saw, I didn't see the game live, but just watching it with my mom. So all of this is really a testament to my mom. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Got you.
But I remember
Shout out to your mom.
I remember watching a double nickel game.
Wow.
There you go.
Um,
So see, I'm the fortunate one in this group because I was in my early 20s when the Bulls started winning it, when they started collecting rings.
yeah,
So
man, you're not that old, man.
yeah. Yeah, and so I worked at the bars during those times. So like they wouldn't even let bands start playing music in the bars until the Bulls game was over. That's how big of a draw the Bulls were at that time. So yeah, I got really lucky that I was that young and single and had all that going on, and
I'm envious because that
crazy time.
had to be a time, bro. Oh God.
Yeah,
That's what I'm sitting here thinking, man. I know that y'all used to get rowdy back then in the '90s. Like the Bulls were, they still are a global brand, because of that span, right? I mean,
so what you guys may not know is during that time, there were so many times after games where this was like obviously social media and all that, but like we knew Rodman was going to go to Mother's after the game. So yeah.
Yo.
We knew we knew that certain guys had certain haunts. So after the game, you could go there, and sometimes other players would be there. I remember I met Barkley out at a bar. Wow, it was cool. Like when he played for Phoenix at the time. Yeah. Anyway, enough stories. Let's get on with the show. Some quick news here. News prediction wise. Wise, you are now one game up on me in the predictions. I did not think that they had it in them to beat, who was it? Boston?
Yeah.
And you did. And I think that was actually a turning point in the season. And now let's talk about this because there actually was, we were getting our ass kicked in that game. And there was a particular point in that game where Billy called 2 quick timeouts, and then they sort of got it back on track. So let's watch a clip here of Billy talking about those 2 timeouts specifically.
What do you call those 2 early timeouts? What do you even say to the guys when things are going that badly?
Sometimes it's not necessarily about, guys making shots or not making shots. It's more about like what you're covering in scouting reports and guys not following the details of what's going on inside the scouting report. And, it happened twice. One time I addressed it because there was a free throw, and then the other time I just called the timeout. And, we needed to have a little bit more attention to detail on the things that we felt like we needed to do going into the game. So it wasn't so much that they were making shots. It was more about, okay, here are the things that we covered. Here's what we said we want to do, and we're not executing those things, and we've got.
Yeah, okay. So I may have clipped it a tad early there, but you get the gist. Basically, he said, hey, you guys aren't following your assignments in our plan, and we sense this, and we're going to put you back on track. Kid, did you get that same feeling when you started seeing that after those timeouts?
We were calling this live, and I just remember clowning the Bulls because it just seemed like a repeat of last season. And I have to admit, I didn't get the sense of the sense of what these timeouts really meant until obviously afterwards, and we made that run in the second quarter. And if you look at that second quarter, I think we outscored them 15-30. I think 15-39. Or something of that sort. And so then it's when it really clicked, like, okay, not only is Billy really like coaching at this point, because that's always been a knock on Billy. Like, can he handle stars and stuff like that?
Right.
But now this team is totally, we're prepared for these type of challenges, and so I love to see that.
Oh yeah.
Wise.
So to me, it kind of reminded, like, I know that it's a bit different because the Bulls came back so early in that, second quarter, but it reminded me of the game last year where the Chicago Bulls were down, I believe, like 18 going into the fourth quarter, and they wound up winning the game by 14 versus the Boston Celtics last year. So it was pretty similar to that game, because prior to those timeouts that you guys were just speaking about, they were getting whooped. It really looked like they were going to lose that game. They didn't have a whole lot of momentum. I don't know. They just weren't clicking really. But once they came out of that timeout, I mean, they just seemed to clamp down on Tatum and Brown, had them force up shots and everything. And they really just started to click offensively as well, starting it with Vooch, kicking it out to letting DeMar Cook doing his thing. So, yeah, they definitely turned it around.
And that game got chippy, man, at the end, and those ejections and all that. And we play them next week in Boston. That's going to be a blast of a game, man, because those guys are not going to have a short memory about that. Okay, so then we got to move on to Indiana, and we pretty much cruised through this one. This is a pretty good one, but boy, this is something I thought was wild at the end.
Are back over 500. Oh, Mathurin took it from Terry, and Terry fouled him.
Benedict Mathurin simply hates to lose.
What? Indiana's like, hey, man, it's not over till it's over. It's not over till it's over. Okay, so
who does
that's
that?
an unwritten rule that you're not supposed to do that, right? Just like, did Dalen Terry go and dunk the ball in their face? No. So let me show you guys something of unwritten rules that have happened with Indiana in the past. And by the way, with the DeMar reaction on the other end. Let's check this out.
Remember this.
And that's going to do it. And Lance Stevenson is going to lay it up and in. With 3.3 seconds left. And now DeRozan and Lance Stevenson getting into it with Tucker for laying that shot up and in with time running out. And the Raptors at midcourt here. And Tucker and Stevenson with words for one another. And P.J. Tucker headed down toward the Indiana bench, because typically, as we know, Leo, with time running out and a game in hand, you would not shoot that basket.
Whoa.
I love it.
That's what we needed. I needed Dalen Terry to floor that guy.
I love it.
No, it's just proper etiquette, man. Like, you know that you don't do that when you know that the game is out of reach, is pretty much done at that point, right? I feel like guys who do that are typically guys, who don't get a whole lot of tick. So they're just basically trying to up their stat line. You know what I mean? But if it's somebody like LeBron or Steph, whoever it may be, that is, a prominent player in the league, they know. Or it don't even have to be a prominent player, but, just a respectable player. They typically don't do stuff like that.
Crazy. All right, we got some news today that Marco is joining the Windy City Bulls effective immediately. I think the staff is actually just pulling a prank on Billy to see if they notice if he's there on the roster or not. I had some fun on Twitter last week of posting a missing poster for Marco, but I think it's safe to say Marco and maybe Kobe or Pat Will are out soon in a big trade package for some event that can take us over the hump. Kid, what do you think about that?
You know what? That's where, ironically, a lot of the P. Will and Kobe White hate, as they would put it, came from last season. Realistically, I just felt like he wasn't it for us. And now seeing Marco, I really don't understand what's happening with Marco. Like, Marco doesn't even have enough sample size for me to say he can't play. Like,
yeah.
I want to be able to say, hey, he ain't got it. I can't say that. But apparently he's not doing enough for Billy to trust him on the court. So it's like, hey, all that working out with Vooch in the offseason, I guess, didn't pay off. And I actually feel sorry for the kid. At least if someone has an opportunity to show you that they stink, you can say, all right, it didn't work out. I don't even know if he had the opportunity, you know.
At least with Felicio, we knew he sucked, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I completely agree because, dude, we're actually lacking size at the 4. Marco is what, 6'11", something like that. I mean, I don't see why not put him out there, man, because we could use his size. I mean, and like you said, I'd rather just find out what he can do exactly. Like what are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? We don't know anything about Marco.
Well, the G League will tell us. So get your tickets, boys. Go on out to Hoffman Estates.
Like we've seen him in the G League, right? In the G League, he looks solid. He looks super solid, but I don't know.
The funny thing about Marco is, having seen him and Vooch in person, he has like half a head over Vooch.
Really?
No, he's like freakishly tall.
He's like 7 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're all freakishly tall to me. I'm 5'9", right? So I'm not scaring anybody. But like, dude, to see Vooch stand next to him and he was taller, I was like, okay, there has to be something going on. Like, come on, like this kid, just stand up, just do this, just put your hands up, like you got to block a shot. So. Man, I'm wishing him the best because one, we don't have enough sample size on him.
Right.
Getting delegated to the G League, excuse me. How many times have we seen a NBA player go down there, murder everybody, then come back and it still doesn't get any tick? You know, so it's like
Devon Dotson,
point
guard of the future.
Exactly. Yeah,
I had such high hope for Devon.
What's so crazy though is we see that he can actually. He looks like a basketball player when he's playing in the G League. He has some semblance of skills. So I just don't see why not throw him out there and see what he can do against real NBA competition.
Don't make me bring up my crush. Don't make me bring up my crush, Wise. I'm gonna go back to my G League boyfriend Antonio Blakeney.
Blakeney. No, but see, Antonio Blakeney, he actually had a couple decent games, right? He had a couple decent games during the regular season. It's just that dude.
But he killed it in the G League. He was the MVP.
Yeah, he was the best.
Dude, he was Dominique Wilkins and Jordan all wrapped up in one in that one season. He was, man. He was windmilling from the free throw line, kid.
Had KD singing his praises and everything.
Yeah.
But
unreal.
And then he gets to the team, and then what happened? I didn't follow him that much.
He was a gunner, and he just wasn't efficient. He was a very inefficient gunner. That was the issue.
He was just chucking up shots every time he had the ball,
and no defense.
I don't want to go on too much of a side note, but like when you say inefficient gunner, you know, we've seen some people be really inefficient. Like James Harden is not an efficient player for a good chunk of his career. Like, I mean, even in Philly right now, I think how many 40% games has he had? Like, it's quite a few. He's racking them up. So when you say inefficient, what are we talking about? Like,
pretty much a bricklayer.
0 for 11.
Yeah.
Or 1 for 12. And the James Harden comparison, I mean, he's a beast in other areas as well because he can legit get his teammates involved. He knows how to orchestrate an offense. He grabs boards and all this.
I'm not comparing that
right?
Game.
But yeah. And so that was the only thing that he was brought up for. It was for his scoring. And he
plays in China now, so that explains it.
Hey, get your money any way you can. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, Chinese money still spends.
Still spends.
It's been so other news. It's been 4 weeks since Lonzo's surgery, and we've entered the official evaluated in 4 to 6 weeks after surgery stage. Somebody asked Billy Donovan about it yesterday, and he just said, "I've not heard anything." So this begs to the question: does it even matter that it's 4 to 6 weeks, given the production of Io and Dragic so early in the season? Are we now afforded that luxury that the Bulls are kind of at peak point guard right now? What do you guys think?
Oh, I'll jump right in.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When you see that you got a dog in Io and what he does and what he brings to the table, his playmaking ability, not just what he does, you know, in the scoring wise, like what he did against Boston. I'm not looking for him to put up 22 points a game. He doesn't have to.
Right.
But he moves the rock. He gets Vooch involved in particular a lot. You know, that give and go, that pick and roll they got is solid. They're utilizing Io the way that we would want them or wanted them to use Lonzo. Get the
right.
You know, bring the ball down, initiate the offense, be able to make a play. He's improving from his 3-point shot. At this point, you kind of got to let the bull run. in my opinion. It'll be really hard for me to sit there and say, yeah, let's bring Lonzo back in and he should start over Io. One, I don't think that makes sense from a health perspective because Lonzo couldn't even run last like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So they got to ease him back in. And now we're going to look, we're definitely, you know, Lord willing, healthy, a playoff team. So now you got to work him back into that. I think Iowa's kind of secured that starting spot. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but we've seen it happen in professional sports many a times. Doesn't mean Lonzo's bad, but I think he's a great shooter off the bench for us at this point.
Sure. Wise, you think that's a good insurance policy for us going forward?
I mean, I feel like Lonzo is definitely going to be needed. I mean, it's very early in the season, and Ayo Dosunmu looks great. Like he looks absolutely exceptional for us at the point guard spot. And I think that what he's doing, he's showing us that he's improved so many aspects of his game, just coming off of last season and continuing, that growth that he showed so early on as a rookie. But like when I think about Lonzo Ball and what he's going to bring to this team, and not to mention Ayo's shooting as well, but Lonzo Ball is the best two-way player that we have. So, I mean, like you said, P.Kidd, definitely, I think taking it slowly and allowing Lonzo Ball to come off of the bench and maybe keeping Ayo in that starting point guard spot. But I think as the season continues and maybe by the time we get to whatever post All-Star break, I think that if Lonzo Ball is 100%, I think it would probably be best to have him back in the starting lineup because how the team looked with he, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vooch, all those guys, the team just looked absolutely stellar when those guys played together. And I don't think that we've seen enough of a sample size with all of those guys playing together to say that, I think that Ayo Dosunmu would be better in the starting lineup than Zoe.
I agree. All right, next thing is Patrick Williams. My favorite nickname for him, P Won't or P Will. Which one is it going to be? Everybody said he's going to be like LeBron, but he is. He's a big flop so far. So, there you go. You think I'm tough? You think I'm tough, boys? Let me show you what Bulls Nation is saying right now.
What's up, guys? In today's video, I got a bunch of Chicago Bulls news. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about and recapping last night's win versus the Pacers. Also talking about how the Bulls are being urged to trade Patrick Williams and how Billy Donovan is a favorite to be one of the first NBA coaches fired for this upcoming season. But before I jump into today's video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the
Okay, Billy Donovan's already getting fired. What are we doing?
What? What is he talking about?
This is today.
Yeah, I've never heard that one. I haven't heard anybody.
Needless to say, I don't agree with that at all. But
what do you guys like? What do you guys think about? Yeah, go ahead.
I've been big on that, and I've said it plenty of times. We've had many of draft class where it's like, it's a mediocre draft class, and outside of, I would say 5-6 names in this draft, we really didn't get a whole lot. And I think P. Will was a kind of a reach for Arturas. And that's nothing wrong. I mean, it's not, you can't hit a home run every time you're at bat. So it's like, it's okay. Like he had the physique we needed. We needed more defense at the time. It was a safe pick, but I mean, he didn't turn out to be what we wanted him to be. And that doesn't mean he's a bad kid. Doesn't mean he's going to be a bad player. He could be a great, he could have a Thaddeus Young-like career and make lots of money, and change his whole family trajectory. And I appreciate that, but that don't mean he deserves to be number 4 overall.
Did you guys see this clip of Jerry Reinsdorf apologizing about P. Will?
No.
Look at this.
Yeah, let me say this about this. I made a mistake here. I was wrong. I trusted this management team. That was ill-advised. Hubris here is extraordinary. And I apologize.
Okay. Oh, that was not the right clip. I'm sorry.
Hey, the clips is on point, man. You're doing it, man. The clips are definitely on point.
Trusted management, man. I don't know what to say.
Okay, let me ask you this. You all don't mind me throwing a curveball, just a slight one. We get back.
Yeah, do it.
Let's do it.
what did you have him rated as? Like we had a good sample size of him his rookie season. He played starter minutes. At the end of that season, what did you really feel? Like, what does your eye tell you?
My eye told me that he was a kid who had some potential. Like, we definitely saw, like you all said, like, he has all of the physical tools, and especially during during the end of that season, when they were pretty much in trash time or whatnot, like, you actually saw Patrick Williams be able to get off a little bit. He have a little bit of an explosive game, when it really didn't matter. So it is basically the same thing that it is now. But that initial season, I was a believer just as far as like him being able to grow. You know what I'm saying? I was patient with him. So I saw him as a prospect that has some potential.
I thought he was more like first-year Jimmy Butler when Tibbs hardly played him. Like, he had those moments of shining, but definitely wasn't ready to be a starter yet. It took Jimmy a couple of years. And what's funny is Jimmy had the same problem. He wasn't aggressive in the very beginning, but he learned quick. And
that's all he's known for now, right?
Man.
Mr. Lockdown, yeah. So
I didn't have him rated that high.
No,
no. You know what it was? There were certain points in the game where, and Jimmy, going back to the Jimmy analysis comparison, that was a really good one. You know what? Jimmy would take those open shots. It wouldn't look pretty, but he would take them, right? And so what does that do? That keeps the defense honest. Like, because if you knock down just one, I got to think about the second one, right? So I may not help offer you as much. Jimmy would be really aggressive, making plays at the rim, like aggressively in that way. Kind of like a dialed back Javonte Green his first couple seasons. If that's a good comparison, I would say so.
Because he had
when
energy.
Jeremy Grant thing came along, I was all for it, simply because Jeremy Grant did everything we wanted P. Will to do.
Yeah,
P. Will's doesn't fill the stat sheet up for rebounds. He just doesn't. He doesn't. He gets one, maybe a block or two, but so did Jeremy Grant. But Grant was a shooter. Like, Grant would get you a bucket. And I was all in for it because that's what we needed.
So two guys helped Jimmy out of that slump when he first started, and that was Luol Deng and Joakim Noah. And they basically taught him how to have a heart again. Whatever that's the Tin Man story in Wizard of Oz, I guess.
Brought the dog out of.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. We got P. Will may be part of the new bench mob, and I'm calling this bench mob 3 because I think we've had 3 bench. This is a third one here, and it really stood out in the Boston and Indiana games as to how deep we are. And it seems like Billy is really trying to fine tune this. The one thing that he did say is that he does want to start taking Zach out of the game with 6 minutes logged. So after his first 6 minutes of the first quarter, he pulls Zach out, brings somebody else back in, probably Kobe or Caruso, one of those guys, and bring Zach back with the second unit as they roam the court. So let's take a look at this clip of Billy talking about that second unit and those transitions.
What kind of identity is that second unit with Zach forming in your mind?
I think it's been good. I think we can continue to build it out. I think this is a little bit new for Zach. I think for most of his career, he's been a guy that's probably played either the whole first quarter or most of it. I appreciate, his willingness to do whatever he can do to help the team. I just thought, with the knee, coming out of a few days where he wasn't playing, missing the first 2 games, maybe help him get his footing, playing 6 minutes, bring him off. Now, whether or not we stay with that or not, I don't know. But I think that for our team, he's been really, really willing and accepting to do whatever he can do to help. And I think he's done a really good job with that group.
Given that you're going 6 deep off the bench and there's so many different ways you can go there, do you feel like the bench is going to be a strong suit for you all season?
Yeah, I think all these guys are good. We've got depth and we've got a lot of really interchangeable parts. And, I think that Patrick, the Alex Caruso, DJ, Javante, those guys give us, a lot of different looks. And, tonight it was a little bit easier just because they were playing relatively small. They were putting 4 guards out there, so we were able to match that way. I give our guys credit because there's times where some of these rotations could be 3, 4, 5 minutes and they're off, based on, how the game is going, and they've all stayed engaged and have tried to contribute any way they can.
Yeah, all except for P. Will. And let me show you guys something. This is P. Will's plus minus with, I think this was the Indiana or Boston game? Boston. He's the only one with a negative plus minus in the entire team.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's telling. That is very telling.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then so that's pretty cool that they're doing that. And then, I mean, are you guys in favor of that strategy of just kind of yanking Zach early and then bringing him back in?
So I actually dig it. It seems like it's been working for them over the past, actually since Zach LaVine has been back. Like you said, he'll yank them around whatever the first 6-7 minutes in the game, and then he'll basically stagger his minutes between he and DeRozan. He'll usually have Zach LaVine playing with like Andre Drummond, the bench squad, Dragic, and they look really good because they have a stable like star in there with them. So it all just works whenever one of the two guys are off of the floor because they keeping DeMar in basically with Vooch and who are the other guys? Basically the starters, and I don't know. It's just balancing itself out. Is how it looks to me.
Yeah, Kid.
I'm big on protecting Zach. Sometimes you got to protect the player from himself. And so at this point, if we can get him back and slowly integrate him back into the game and keep him healthy, which is all we want. We want to see him take the leap. You got to be healthy on the floor to take the leap, right? So staggering his minutes, allowing others to have the opportunity to develop their game and things of that nature, that just makes it easier for him and DeRozan. I mean, DeRozan's not getting any younger, right? Vooch is not getting any younger. So if you can allow others to come into their own as well and have a well-rounded team, I think that allows all of that to kind of come into fruition, simultaneously. And so it's working so far. The biggest question is it going to be sustainable? And what happens if that doesn't work? What does Billy do at that point? So that's what I'm looking at. What happens when
what happens? Yeah, how do they counter that on the other side, knowing that that's Billy's management schedule in terms of his players?
I mean, I see it being sustainable more so because Andre Drummond, he's basically a starter on a lot of other teams. I won't say a lot, but at least like 10 other teams in the league. Andre Drummond is a rebounding machine, and you see that he can be effective on the offensive end as well. If he's used correctly. I love the hookups between he and Dragic. They look very, very nice. Very, very nice. So, and just even with how Dragic is looking lately, man, he's really making you. He really rebounded that first comment.
Yeah, I remember somebody giving me a little bit of crap
earlier
I
in the year. Gave you some flack for that.
And then all of a sudden, I see this tweet coming on. Oh, what's this?
I know you saw that first preseason game, bro.
Oh.
Did you see that first preseason game with Dragic?
No, I didn't get
he had man, he was horrible. He looked horrible. But anyway, it don't even matter because he looks very good right now. He's definitely a PG. He is the vet. But I just think that it pretty much is sustainable, man, because the team is just looking very cohesive right now, and I only see it continuing to grow from here. But I also have one more thing that I wanted to throw out there. What do you guys think about going to grab a free agent and like LaMarcus Aldridge? If you ask me, I feel like we need a 4. I feel like we need a legitimate 4 because while Javante Green, yes, he is balling and he's doing his thing out there, I can't necessarily say the same for Patrick Williams, and we just lack so much size outside of Vooch and Andre Drummond. You look at what LaMarcus did last year with Brooklyn, bro. He was balling. He had 12 points off of the bench. He grabbed 6 boards. He shot 50% from the field. I think we could definitely do worse.
I
worse,
agree. Is it me, or does it seem like our bench is getting comprised of guys that we tried to get as starters 4 years ago and failed?
I know, right?
Yeah, so the Bulls actually tried to get LaMarcus Aldridge last year too, but he chose Brooklyn. Like, he was deciding between the two, but he ended up going with Brooklyn.
All right.
Like,
well, let's go back. Let's talk about Dragic and some of the things that that he's got going on. I know you're a believer now. You're puffing the Magic Dragon there, Wise. You're a Dragic believer again. Let's see what Billy Donovan has to say about him.
Yeah, he's really, really smart. Like, I really love, I liken it to Chris Paul being with him in Oklahoma City. Like, the level of basketball conversations to me is just, I love it. And I love the communication with him and talking in terms of what he's seeing and just talking in general. He's got such a high IQ. To your point, he's been in the league for a long time. He's a guy that makes it a lot easier for screeners. When guys screen for him, he can find them and make things happen. But, he's a very, very unique guy. And I say that in a very, very positive way, just with his experience, what he's been through throughout his career, and just getting a chance. Here's a guy that played with Steve Nash, in Phoenix. Like, there's a lot of experiences he had. So, and he loves talking about the game, and I love, talking with him about it.
I like guys like that.
For sure.
Sure, Matt Thomas never had that kind of talk with Billy Donovan.
You got to think about what that does for your young point guards too, like being able to have that resource, right?
And I think soaking that up. Oh my God.
Yeah, like that's what I looked at when we picked up DeMar. Like, what did that do for Zach? How does that help him take the leap, right? What did Lonzo, had his health issues, but now seeing Ayo come in, what does that do for him? Because Dragic, even in the bubble, like if he was healthy, he was cooking in the bubble.
Yeah,
Miami could have probably, got one by on the Lakers on that one. We'd be having a whole different story about Jimmy Butler and his career and stuff like that. So I've always likened that to kind of address what you just threw out real quick. And I was looking at Dwight Howard.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't somebody bring that up on our last pod?
Yeah.
Somebody else brought up Dwight Howard. So you would go with Dwight over LaMarcus?
I would go with Dwight over DeMarcus because Dwight
Howard. I wasn't too keen on the crotch grabbing.
Tell me why, bro.
You know why?
One, if his last stint in Lakers, even at the even with how they staggered his minutes and stuff like that, he was giving you good production. I don't know why they let their centers go in an inside presence, but
you put him at the 4.
Say that again.
You'd put him at the 4. Where would you put him?
He played a center, and I'd shift. I honestly feel like Vooch could play the 4. I'm not saying it's going to work every game. I'm not saying it's going to work every line.
I'm about to say,
understand me here, right? I'm not giving that, but you got to think about it. What does Vooch do a lot of?
Shoot.
He shoots, and
he's
probably one of the better 3-point shooters on the team, if we're being honest.
Yeah, he is. He definitely looks like it so far.
Allow him to get some time.
So I don't know. Tony Bradley just won the 3-point contest in Bulls practice the other day. So
my goodness, Marcus, stay clowning, man. You don't stop, bro.
All right. So now let me get back to this. Let me get back to the thing here. So let's talk about Drummond. He did say something the other day that was pretty controversial. He actually said he was the rebounder of the century.
Chance points were kind of a weak point for the Bulls last year, just in terms of letting other teams back on the offensive boards. How do you feel like you guys are approaching that this year, especially in that second unit?
Give the best rebounder of the past century on your team. I take rebounding seriously, and I know that's something that this team lacked in, and I think our team now we're tough. I think we have a very tough team. I think it's more so just getting out of each and every one of us, knowing that we can't take those possessions lightly because we have a team that can run on the break. So if we get the rebound, we can run and score. So just bringing that aggression and going after the rebound is something that I bring to this team.
I love it. I love every bit of it.
So do you guys think that he's the rebounder of the century?
I mean, come on now.
Ready? You ready? Here we go. That's his total rebound percentage.
It's a great stat.
In terms of teams, yeah, you could cherry pick this one and say, yeah, he is.
It's a great stat.
Rebounder of the century.
That's solid. That's definitely solid. I guess
that felt like hate. You said that's solid, and he's number one on the list. Like,
no, all right, and that's what I was about to say, bro. I was about to say because I'm about to hate on him a little bit, just going off of that Cleveland game, and obviously he looking at that stat. Obviously he's the best, right? But bro grabbed 3 boards in that Cleveland game. I was very disappointed, very disappointed. But no, I mean Andre Drummond, he's a beast on the boards.
You
now that we have
about it though.
Yeah, go.
Look at his minutes and then look how many boards he gets you. Imagine if he played 22 minutes a game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He probably averaged 14 rebounds a game. Like he had more rebounds than Vooch last game, and Vooch had more minutes than him.
That's why I say, bro, he's a starter on certain teams. I mean,
and that's exactly what we need. That's what they brought him into Brooklyn for. They, that's what we need because as much as we say the East has gotten better, I don't know too many backup centers as talented as Andre Drummond left in the league in the East anywhere, and that's going to be a huge factor when it comes to playoff time and getting down the stretch after All-Star break.
For sure.
And P.Kidd, going back to the real quick, Marcus, but going back to the Dwight Howard thing, right? I mean, we got Andre Drummond in there. I mean, you think that he should take minutes from Andre Drummond? Reason I say LaMarcus Aldridge is because I think we need a little bit more firepower off the bench in terms of scoring. And I think that's where LaMarcus Aldridge would come in. 12 points off the bench, we could definitely use that, especially when, Kobe is going through his cold spell or, Dragic, he's not necessarily a great scorer, but I could definitely see them hooking up and having a really good marriage on the court. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the pick and pop that LaMarcus has always had. I'm pretty sure that hasn't gone anywhere. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm campaigning for LaMarcus Aldridge.
Hey, I love it. I you know what? I only think about it because when we think about making deep playoff runs, it's only 2 teams that really scare the mess out of me when it comes down to how we match up with them, and that's Boston. Not Boston. That's the Bucks, and that's Philly. I don't know what it is about Chicago, but Embiid sees Chicago and sees 50. It's just what he does. It's like he's been seeing 50 regardless.
We got us a Drummond now that can counter that.
Oh man, did you see how much real estate he owns in Andre Drummond's head? I don't know about that one, right? So like I look at those matchups and I say, who's stopping Giannis? And Giannis had a tough time getting around Dwight Howard. I ain't saying it was a great game by Dwight, but it's like defensively, rebounding, and things of that nature, and how they stack up. I just look at stuff like that and like, hey, we can throw an extra body in there, and he's a veteran. He has presence. It could actually turn into.
Okay, so then Dwight, how would you like a 10-day contract right around the time that we play the Bucks or the 76ers, and the rest of the time you can just go party?
You tell out of 10 days.
Just 10 days right there, and then 10 days right here.
I mean, hey, Tony Bradley's on is still on the roster, so I mean, like, come on now.
Yeah, right. I don't know how, but yeah. I mean, I honestly don't see why they signed Kostas either.
That's why.
Like, what do y'all think the Kostas signing was about? I mean, dude is absolute trash. I don't know if maybe they're trying to entice Giannis from the stuff that he said, what was it, last year or whatever, or this past summer about playing for the Chicago Bulls possibly. But come on, man, they're wasting a roster spot on dude. He doesn't.
Well, he's on a 2-way. He's playing in the G League with Marco, so who knows? Maybe Marco's really good at practice, and they need to get it. Kostas in shape. Who knows, man? I don't know. I don't care. Those guys mean nothing to me right now. It's like those.
I understand.
Do I think Giannis is ever going to come to Chicago? No way. No way.
No,
it's not happening. Okay. What do we got here? We got. Let's close out the show here. We're getting ready in terms of the predictions for the coming week. But before we do that, let's go through some comments here. It's still sad that Dwight's not on a team. Maybe. It looks like Pat's over there saying Wilt didn't play this century. Okay.
No, Patty didn't play this century.
No, correct. What is this one? Spot on comparison. I think that's Jimmy Butler. I think at least. And RW Chi-Town, please never use inside the Chicago Bulls clips. I won't. I just wanted to show the panic button. I just wanted to show the panic button and what we're doing.
The smoke for them is hilarious.
Yeah. He Will is more like Lowry from 2 years ago. Yes.
I thought about that too.
Yes.
Yeah, just in terms of how we were all waiting on him, waiting to see something from him. Yeah.
And Lowry was giving me double digits. I don't care what y'all talking about. I can't get with that one. Maybe he wasn't.
Lowry's a beast now, man. He is an absolute.
Lowry was such a tease, bro. He was such a tease. All of us were waiting on him to make that jump, man, and that's what it was. But I said the same thing. Like Lowry, he was giving Miles buckets out here. Like he was definitely giving people buckets, and you saw the potential in Lowry. But I mean, he ain't on the team now for a reason, bro.
Man, the bar's so low for P. Will. If he gave you 13 points a game right now, you'd be like, "That's why we picked him up."
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get that.
Low dogging it.
Lowry was averaging 18 at one point. P. Will ain't giving us 18 points a game.
No. All right, so let's
definitely
go.
Not in terms of the production, but it's more so just what we were waiting. We were waiting for greatness with Lowry. That's all. My bad, Marcus. Go ahead.
No, it's good, man. I know, and we're still waiting. So preseason, Wise and I actually tied up with only one incorrect prediction each. Wise, you're on top of me now, one game, so I got to do a little makeup here. Let's do some predictions. DeMar is going to hit 20,000 points in his old stomping grounds of San Antonio, which the Bulls play at the Spurs on Friday. Nice story. I don't think he's going to completely go off. He might, just in celebration. Personally, I hope he gets the record and then sits down. But because we're going to need him the next game against the 76ers. And then we just got this announcement just a few minutes before the show started. Bulls have listed Zach LaVine as questionable for Friday night's game in San Antonio. So it looks like they're going to do left knee injury management on the front end of that back-to-back. But I still think the Bulls are going to pull it out. So I'm saying dub. Wise, what do you got? Bulls in San Antonio. Dub,
I mean, it's – I expect them to win that game easily.
I don't expect us to win easily because the Spurs have been cooking and they're supposed to be tanking or something like that. I don't know what's happening there, but
they're looking like Utah.
They coming alive a little bit.
So I haven't even been watching them, but I mean, I expect the Bulls to win that game.
They beat the Sixers and they beat the Nets, right?
I think we're going to lose that game simply because I don't think we're going to take them seriously, and when it may not have Zach. DeMar's going to break the record. I think Billy rests them because we got to fly. We have to immediately fly out to come play the Sixers. And I think that means most to us because not only is it in conference, but it's one of the teams that even last year we struggled with so much. And
who's the Spurs standout player right now?
Yeah,
who's
I think
their best player.
Yeah, we want to just make a good showing against the teams that we expect to see in the playoffs. So I don't think that I wouldn't look at a loss against the Spurs even as a bad thing, to be honest with you. It's like, nah.
Yeah, Wise.
Honestly,
I
can't even name. Yeah, I can't name. You know, I know a couple of their players, but I'm trying to think about their standout player.
You talking about Devin Vassell?
Well, yeah, I know Devin Vassell. They also got the guy that they drafted last year. I mean, I don't know, but
they
like
the guy I liked, Jakob
DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted him, right? I think that the Bulls.
I wanted him bad because everybody was like, "Oh, he just gets dunked on." I was like, "He can get dunked on all he wants to." He's giving me a double. Jakob.
That's what I'm saying. they lost DeJounte, and now I can't think of anybody to speak about really on the Spurs.
Ooh,
but, I mean,
Dougie Two Picks. Doug McDermott is on that team.
He is.
Dougie Two Picks.
That's what Yorgi Dang is on the team. Blake Wesley, Primo, what's his name? Paletti. I don't know who these.
You know what makes them dangerous? There's no defined star.
Right.
So because there's no defined star, that means everyone is like, especially with that system, everyone's getting a chance to touch the ball. And when you have a team that can give you like just consistent buckets, You got to think about it. If you got 5 people who scored near double digits, you have a pretty tight. You're most likely have a pretty tightly contested game. So, like they play team basketball, and they have maybe 1 or 2 people that give you a little bit more. I wouldn't sleep on them by any means. I'm not saying, oh yeah, they're gonna beat Detroit of 2004 or something like that. I ain't saying that.
I mean, I hear that. But I would say that would be cool if the Bulls were like, I don't know, the Oklahoma City Thunder or something like that. But we're supposed to be one of the better teams in the East, right? I mean, we have 3 stars on this team. I don't expect that they're similar to the Indiana Pacers, which I think the Pacers actually do have a notable player in like Tyrese Halliburton. I can't necessarily say the same for the Spurs right now. So, I mean, I just expect the Bulls to handle business against them. Not that it's going to be easy, but they better win.
Yeah.
I feel you.
All right, so then let's go on to Saturday's game. We're going to have the Halloween festivities going on at the UC, where Zach, DeMar, Vooch, and the guys take on one of the biggest contender challenges of the year. Coming off that back-to-back, I'm looking for Dragic and Drummond to really take a step. I'm going to go for a dub.
I'm going dub. I'm going dub.
Who are they playing?
Philly. Playing Philly on Saturday.
And y'all going with dubs against Philly?
I'm going with a dub.
Is Broski out?
Statement game.
C-Red, baby. Come on.
Statement game.
Dog. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna pose y'all. That's an L. Like I gotta see it to believe it. I'm sorry, but Embiid has the Bulls card. They can't be going with that man.
Yeah, James Harden might not though.
We're gonna play reverse Uno on this right now.
Yeah, I know, right? He's supposed to be riding for the team. Look at him. Like you're supposed to take the L on the West Coast and take the dub on the East Coast, man. That's the theme here, man.
It's all right. All right. So then Tuesday, we got a bounce game. We got the Bulls in Brooklyn. I'm saying L. I don't think we're gonna be I don't know, man. Sometimes we just can't pull it together against these teams. Ben Simmons has kind of been struggling off and on. I think this might be one of those games where he kind of, I don't know, one of the intangibles is going to happen that we don't predict. So I think it's going to be close, but I don't think we're going to pull that one off.
I got W against Brooklyn. I mean, they look as bad as I thought they were going to look to start the season, and I don't think that Ben Simmons is going to get back on track against us. So I mean, just looking at him right now, it is so bad. I was looking at the game just the other day where Kyrie had to tell him to shoot because he literally would not shoot the ball and he was wide open. Kyrie hit him with a pass right under the bucket, and he passed it out to KD, and he was pretty much wide open. They were playing the Bucks. He had Giannis up under the rim, and instead of just dunking on him, he just passed it out. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe him.
I think mid-season he's going to be back to, what he was doing in Philly when we were all like before we all started killing him. Ben was never put up a bunch of shots. He was a very transitional player. Get him on a run, on a break, murdered people, right? Like whatever. So like I think it's just Ben hasn't been playing ball on a high level in a long time. I think that's just it.
Years.
Kyrie kind of just already said it in the post game. He already gave that sentiment to him as well. The one thing I'll say is I think we don't have a guard that can stick Kyrie, and we don't have anyone to stick KD. The problem is the others with the Nets, not those two. So
you think the Io Kyrie matchup's going to be good?
I think Io's going to need some help.
Oh yeah. I mean, but he doesn't.
I mean,
right? And I feel like nobody has anybody to guard those guys. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like you said, it's going to be about the others. KD, Kyrie, they're going to do their thing.
And if it's a good game plan, guess what? I'm going to let KD and Kyrie go off for 60, 70, 80.
Yep.
And I'm going to shut down everybody else because I don't even know who those guys are.
That's it.
All right. But I think it's going to be a struggle. I'm predicting an L simply because they are reeling and they need to bounce back. And I think, both teams actually, Philly's kind of reeling in the Nets. I think we really want to go at Philly. And I just think we end up, laying up an egg against the Nets. But I wouldn't be surprised if they came out just extra high. I just wouldn't be surprised by it.
And also worth noting that is the first of another back-to-back. So that trip out to Brooklyn is the first. And the next day we play in the UC against the Hornets. So I'm wondering, are we going to be doing some knee management issues either in either one of those games with Zach, either Brooklyn or versus Charlotte?
I think they're gonna rest them against Charlotte because we got to play the Celtics that Friday. So they got the Hornets Wednesday, we got Celtics that Friday, and then we got Raptors back to back on the 6th and 7th as well. And then we leave them to play the Pelicans. So like it's a really tough schedule. Like whoever made we have one of the toughest schedules. Whoever made this schedule, your mama. But anyway, I mean, have you all looked at who we play in November?
It's crazy. I'm glad we get it out early. At least some guys can still stay fresh and healthy before getting hurt and having to take
flip flopped it on us. They flip flopped it on us from last year. Remember how we started out playing a lot of the lesser teams and then we post All-Star break.
Which to me is great because if that means we can coast at the end of the year and everybody can get healthy and we can rest up some guys, I'll take that.
Sounds good. That's usually when everybody dealing with knickknacks though, but
the bad thing for me is like a lot of the teams that were like kind of mediocre and trash last season, they ain't trash right now.
They ain't trash no more.
Cavs are not trash. The Wizards are surprisingly good. They're actually kind of cooking. Like you can't sleep on them. So we got them. The only trash team I would say we have in the next 2 weeks outside of, I would say, Hornets is Orlando.
Yeah. Well, that too.
And I can't even say they trash, bro. I mean, overall, they are trash. But I love that
Paolo over there, though. Paolo,
bro, he beastie.
Oh.
Have you been seeing him? Like, yo, dude is 6'10" with handles, and he a 3-level scorer, but like he is beastie.
Hey, he a rookie though. He got to go through them ebbs and flows. He got to prove it to me. He on a losing streak right now, so they trash right now.
Yeah. We should definitely win that game.
Just remember something, boys.
It's fun to watch.
It is just any team is just one knee snap or sprained ankle away from being out of it, as we know more than anybody, especially last year and in history.
That better not be a jinx, Marcus.
I'm not saying us. I'm saying these other teams in the East that thinks that they're so damn stacked now.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
Over usage. Okay, Wednesday, who you got? Hornets and Bulls in Chicago wise. Wednesday the 2nd.
Okay, Bulls.
Bulls. Okay, Kidd. Bulls.
No question.
All right, and then I think they're going to lose. This is the last one we're going to predict here, and that is Friday the 4th. Bulls at Celtics. I'm saying a loss.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get them 2 games in a row.
I'm going dub.
I'm going to L.
You're going dub?
I'm going dub. Right. I think we're gonna coast against the Hornets. We're gonna roll into Boston, and I think this is the year we prove everybody wrong. Like you remember what the talk was last season. We can't beat the good teams. I think we're gonna.
Even Zach mentioned that when he did his interview with Isaiah Thomas of all people.
I know, right?
Zach, don't be calling Isaiah Thomas your dog, okay? Okay. In some sense, he is a dog because I think he's a bitch. But okay.
Oh man, yeah.
I was not ready.
I'm sorry.
I was not ready.
That was hard.
Hey, you know what? You are a traditional Bulls fan. I get it.
Yeah,
I respect it.
Man.
Yep. I respect it. I just remembered it. You remember those Detroit games? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the loss year after year after year.
I like it.
And then you don't shake our hand when he win it from you, you bastard.
Well,
I got a 30-year grudge right now.
IT is a Chicago kid, man. You got to give it hometown love.
I don't care.
You're
a Chicago kid. Act like it.
It's a shame somebody that's not from the town replaced them as a Chicago kid. That has to hurt. That has to hurt.
Well,
hey, man, this has been great. This has been great, man.
You should have. All right, so let's close this out. P.Kidd,
wow,
where
Marcus.
can we find you? What do you got going on? Tell us where everybody can get in touch with
Oh
you.
man, listen, always on the Windy City Breeze. You know, Marcus and Y supports it. You all should come through as well. Actually going to be putting out some more content myself, just in support of that. We're trying to get everyone, you know, to really build and bolster
What are you
their
doing?
platforms.
What are you gonna do?
I'm actually, you know, there's a couple segments I've been dying to do, and one of them was could he play today? I am really big on those old school players who just are like those unsung heroes that no one really talks about. And you know, everyone brings up these, you know, best point guard lists and stuff like that, but there's some people in the 90s that absolutely cooked that no one even talks about. And it's like, yeah, nah, we got to shine some light on these players. And some of them I've actually had a chance to meet. So I want to bring that back. I've been really dying to do that for a long time. So that's what I'm going to be bringing back out.
I like that idea. Cool.
Would love to
All
have
right.
your input on it, man. Would love to get you on, man.
I'd love to be a part of that. Actually,
yeah, let's make it happen, bro.
All right. So, Wise, where can I check you out at social?
At radical_creator on Twitter and Instagram. And as some of you probably already know, you can check out my Bulls YouTube channel. Just type in Wise Black, WYSE, and you'll get up with your boy. I release Chicago Bulls content, obviously. And yeah, that's about it.
My man.
All right. And you can find me at Marcus Couch, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Everything show related you can find at Bulls Podcast, and you can find the audio podcast in all the regular feeds and on bullspodcast.com. So forgot our closing.
Oh no.
There we go.
Oh, and
Bulls fans, remember to follow the show on social media at Bulls Podcast and at bullspodcast.com.
Okay, and then last thing before we finally exit is that voice that you heard, Ray Clay, 6-time champion announcer, is going to be on the show in December.
Oh,
and
nice.
That is something that I've been trying to do actually for a number of years. He is really looking forward to it, and I can't even fathom all of the content that I'm going to put together for the Ray show in terms of everything that he's seen and the other side of The Last Dance that we never got to see and all the rest of it. So
Man,
just wanted to
treat for me.
Wanted to share that with the audience.
Oh,
yeah, that's going to be awesome. So until next time, go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
And man, I just wanted to thank you, P.Kidd, bro. For coming on the show with us, man. This was a pleasure, and I love what you and Pat do over there on the Windy City Breeze, man. So y'all keep doing y'all thing,
man. The honor is mine, man. I appreciate you all, you know, inviting me on you all's journey, and I would love to, you know, come back and chop it up with you all. I really love what you all are building here, and it's
absolutely. You're welcome. Anytime, man. Anytime you want to come on, you're always welcome,
brother.
All righty, boys. That's it for the Bulls podcast number 60. Talk to you next time.
Peace.
Go Bulls.